So he gave me a name. And so that's who I reached out to. I didn't do any research. I didn't look online. I just reached out to that person in Omaha and called them. And we went there, and he kind of asked what I was interested in, and I had only driven SUVs, and so I said I wanted to stick with an SUV. So he told me they had a Buick Enclave or a Chevy Traverse that were options. I had those two options. So they didn't have any in the store. They didn't have any that I could drive. But just assured me, right, that they would be awesome. So looked at pictures online. I chose the Chevy Traverse. They showed me I called it the Lamborghini door, the door that goes up, and I thought that was going to be so cool. So I was so excited, wrote the check, ordered it, and just couldn't wait for the day it arrived. So when the Traverse arrived, I went to Omaha to pick it up, and there were things immediately that I noticed that I was unhappy with. The looks of the car was something I just was surprised at, because it's a very, very expensive purchase. It was a lot of money, so I kind of expected the bells and whistles. So I was surprised at simple things like my floor mats were missing, and it was a very slippery metal floor. We got the car in December, so we had snow on our shoes, and we're slipping all over when we got in the car, and I thought that's weird. And we had a drive home. We lived 2 hours away from Omaha, so we went through a drive-through, and I didn't have any place to put my cup. Like, there were no cup holders in the car, and it just small things, and I was like, this is really weird. I spent a lot of money on this car that I was surprised about. It was very, very loud. One thing I would recommend, I would never buy a car without driving it first to see how they drive. The car was very, very loud. The Lamborghini door that I thought was really cool turned out to be a really big inconvenience. It didn't seal properly, so it sounded like we were driving with the door open. There was a lot of noise. The muffler noise was really, really loud on that conversion, so when you pressed on the gas, it sounded like we were driving a race car. And I have 3 children, so Carson was in the middle, and my other 2 children were in the back seat, and they couldn't even hear us when we're driving. Like, they're asking me, Mom, we need to go to the bathroom, and I'm going, what? Because I can't hear them. We're screaming at each other in the car. It was so loud. We continued to have a lot of issues. One thing I noticed right off the bat is my seat didn't feel secure. I was bumping around a lot when I was driving. So the first time we needed to run the air conditioner wasn't until March, and so the very first time we went to turn the air conditioner on in the car, the air conditioner didn't work, and it was a brand new vehicle, it wasn't used, so the air conditioner should work. The check engine light came on. We took it in to get serviced. The check engine light is still on in that car. That no one could ever figure out what was causing it to be on. Just, there were a lot of issues. With the door going up, I'm a taller person, and so is my husband. So when we weren't used to it, every time we would walk in and out of the car, we kept banging our head on the steel bar across the top of the door. So if Carson's not with me in the car, but I'm driving the car myself, then the lockdown is not in place, and the car is supposed to beep at you to let you know it's not locking. So the car would beep, and then I would hit the safety switch to say, I know it's not locked. That's because Carson's in the car with me. But that stopped working like after a month, so there was no safety thing at all. That just didn't work anymore. I was driving in the car. We were leaving the swimming pool, and Carson was in her wheelchair, and my oldest daughter was sitting in the front passenger seat, and we were just going on a residential street, so we were not driving very fast, and we were coming up to a red light. So I slowed down to stop at the red light, and a young high school driver behind me rear-ended us, and weren't going fast, so minor damage to the back end of my vehicle. However, in the rear end collision, my oldest daughter in the front passenger seat, her seat actually came ejected from the car, and she flew backwards. The whole seat came unhinged out of the car, flew backwards, and almost hit Carson. And luckily no one was hurt. But that was the last straw for me, that I knew this car is not safe and I needed to get a new vehicle. This time I did my research, and I looked online and did some research about what is the safest place, what is the most reputable place you can get a converted vehicle, and that's how I heard of Braun. And it was funny, because after I did that, then as I'm driving down the street and I notice any modified vehicles, they all have the Braun logo, and I was like, okay, I should have realized this in the first place. So I want to thank you to Braun, and thank you to Superior here in Omaha for just making this experience so much more enjoyable, and I am much more confident now in my vehicle purchase and know that it's going to be safe and that it's the right vehicle for our family.